Hmm. Greetings, beloveds. Welcome to Muse and Magic 1111, and thanks for stopping by my channel for yet another deep dive into your tarot journey. Um, wow, let's just get into it. You know, let's. I'm straddling the fence because I'm trying to see if I need to do a healing here, but I think I'm going to forego and just get into these messages. So, Namaste. Okay, is the first card out here. This is a card that's basically reminding you to take the time to really to take the time to just woosah, right? Just be in a space where you're not taking anything too seriously at this time. Okay. Um, someone's going through a rebirth here. This may be you. Um, and I feel like it is. You're going through a bit of a transformation. You're evolving. Um, I'm going to say that 2025, it was, wow. 2025 for many people was quite the year. It was pretty intense. Things were changing. Um, I see wells drying up. So maybe for someone, finances were a little bit of a struggle, felt like they were drying up. Um, I see that there were people, many of us had people, close people to us, or loved ones, or just really close friends, or people that we knew, or people that we knew, but we just kept hearing about a lot of deaths, right? And I feel like a lot of these deaths have come in people that are much younger than we would expect them to be when it comes to passing or transitioning over. But you yourself are going through a major transformative time. And I just think that 2025 represented for you. I mean, listen, 2 and 5 is 7, so that's a 7. That's literally, the completion, right? There was a lot of things that needed to be completed and that were completing out, and so that's why it might have felt very intense last year, right? However, here we are with the rebirth. This is you going. Literally, I just get phoenix. It's not the phoenix, but I feel phoenix energy. Funny because this actually almost looks like a phoenix here, with the hero. Ooh, I didn't even see this. This is hiding behind this one. So there's a hero energy here. This is almost like a grieving. Yeah, there was a lot of grief last year, and it may not have been it come to you in a sense of just literally being emotional and crying, but yeah, I think so. And some of you guys did some actual grieving over past people, places, and things. Some of us had to grieve because remember I talked about many deaths coming up last year, unexpectedly, or just even if it was just people that we heard of, people that we knew of, people that we knew. You know what I mean? So there was this period of grieving. I think many of you or us ended up grieving situations that no longer served us. And it's also because you're going through this rebirth and transformation, you're grieving your old self. Sometimes it's kind of hard to transition and ground yourself in this new person, this new energy that you're in without recognizing or reckoning with the person that you were. A lot of people here have been dealing with people who knew you when. And so people have this tendency of trying to hold you to who you were before, who they remembered you to be in 1992, 1997, 1985. 2004. I'm just throwing out numbers, but I'm just saying, throwing out years. But they hold you to that instead of recognizing all the work that you've done and how much change you have gone through, how much you've done to transition and rebirth yourself, reinvent yourself into the person that you are. Not that it was something you did purposely. It's just something that happened inevitably because you're the type of person who's looking for, trying to, and even if you've been rebelling against it, you've just been calling in this energy of transformation and becoming your best self, the best version of yourself. Okay. And that is heroic. It's brave and heroic, right? Um, there's someone who's been in their mind pretty heavy, maybe been in your thoughts, overthinking, um, with this thought card. Um, but it's also giving me vibes like the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. So I think many of you have been, or us, right, have been in student mode. You've been in receiver mode. It's almost like I see, I don't know why I want to think about the foil helmet, right, up on your head. But, you know, contrary to what that would represent, this is really blocking things out, right? You've really been on your journey to just seeking, receiving wisdom, esoteric wisdom, new information in a new way. And so that you're changing your perspective. And this is a part of why you are going through this transition. Okay. Um, yeah, yeah. So someone here may feel like you have a little bit of regret. But this is mainly, again, remember I said, people tend to hold you to your past. And when you're changing, sometimes it's kind of difficult. It's kind of difficult to, transition into this new person. There's a lot of talk about like 90-day transformation, but coming into this new person and really just walking away and letting go and grieving the old you, which no longer serves you, it no longer works for you anymore. And God, man, this is so crazy. So everything is relevant. I literally just did a reading earlier, and it was more or less just like a short, but it was on Ray J, who was recently admitted to the hospital, I think a day or a day and a half or so ago. And one of the things that came up was, when we talk about he was in there for pneumonia, and when you talk about with complaining of chest pains, and of course with pneumonia you can't breathe very well. There's a lot of things that could be happening in the body, but mainly that's the indicator that your lungs are full of fluid, or they're filling with fluid, which makes it very hard to breathe. And why that happens is because there's these microorganisms that come into the body that have gotten into, when you breathe them in, gotten into the lungs, and they start to multiply. And in this multiplication, the body is trying to do what it needs to do to get rid of the dis-ease. And as a defense mechanism, I guess there's like this, well, really just the overproduction of these microorganisms is what causes the fluid, but the body is it's working really hard to try and get rid of this. There's pain in the chest. Now, to me, the chest is from here to here. When I think of the chest, I'm thinking about all this area. So it could be heart chakra. It could also include the solar plexus. You know what I'm saying? When you really think about it, that could be the chest, whether it's upper or lower. Heart is about heartbreak, matters of the heart, right? And solar plexus is more about the ego, which is very much tied to our, it's very much tied to our perception of ourselves and how we want the world to perceive us, our ego, right? So it's just kind of just interesting because the body speaks our mind. And when you think about having chest pains, when you're going into a situation where there's discomfort and dis-ease, that means there's a major imbalance in the body. That's the body just, speaking our minds, is acting out what we're going through mentally, spiritually, or emotionally. And in Ray J's case, I feel like many of us, we've been going through, many of us, dark night of the soul. There's a huge shift happening on the planet, and there's many that are remembering. They're waking up and remembering. talk about um talk about um, not just COVID and that year, many people awakening, but talking about the book of Revelations in the Bible, where people, will wake up next to the people they know, and then they'll be gone. Well, it wasn't a literal sense of, oh, we're good, we're floating up to the sky, you know what I mean, away from our loved ones. No, what it meant is that you will wake up and you'll no longer know these people, and they will no longer know you, because you've changed, you've transitioned, you're reinventing yourself, you're waking up, and they're choosing to stay here in a vibration where they're not waking up. They want to stay in the matrix. They want to stay in the simulation. They want to believe the illusion. So there's a divide. And so many of you may feel like you just don't resonate with the lovers, the people, the homies, the friends, the siblings, the family that you were born into anymore, because they refuse to change and evolve with you, or transition, or do the work to try and remember who they are, to try and awaken, to try and remember the truth, about all things spiritual. You know what I'm saying? So, um, just take that how it resonates. So I think all of these have been thoughts in your mind. You know that there's something that's been happening, something churning, something changing, something different in you. And so even though people want to kind of hold you to your path, and this may cause you to grieve. That's what this regret card is about. It's just about grieving, and letting go of the past and looking backwards, looking over the past. Hindsight is 2020. Grieving doesn't mean that it has to be this sad and sorrowful thing, and then sometimes it is, but it doesn't mean it's not going to continue to happen, because it's a very necessary process when you're shedding the old, right? So yeah, so someone's here is definitely in heavy manifestation energy, right? This is hmm when you are going through this, a transformation, and walking away from that which no longer serves, and what's now old to you, old skin. Think of a snake shedding its skin and leaving it behind. Um, what you start to realize is that your dreams are different. Your goals are now different. You're setting new dreams, new goals, new things that you want to, new plans out there, new blueprints of what it is that you want to accomplish, what it is you want to build, who it is you want to be. And so that's what this manifestation card is really about. It's like now having new dreams, new goals, and starting to bring those things into you. So this change has a lot to do with the change of your actions, your habits, your thoughts, right? That thought card came out. And even your peace with Namaste. Like, I just feel like even though your life has been a little chaotic and topsy-turvy and upside down maybe, um, but this has been a time that's actually been probably coming into 2026, I'm saying, it's been peaceful. And sometimes, this is why I brought up Ray J, sometimes we'll create dis-ease because change doesn't happen in comfort. Change comes about when there is chaos, when there's discomfort, when there's like a boom, pow, bang, there's an explosion, there's a something that happens that catapults us into, pushing us into knowing we need to stop being so comfortable and content. We need this change, right? Life force is here. And I brought up Ray J because I feel like that's his manifestation. We do manifest the dis-ease in our bodies. Sometimes we can need a rest and don't feel like we can get it any other way unless something very traumatic happens. And so on a subconscious level, we can create these tower moments, i.e. Ray J being now hospitalized. I mean, he's out now, thank God, and recovering, so says the news. But isn't that crazy how sometimes you have to create this tower moment just to get a sense of peace? In the hospital, everybody can't be at me. Nobody can expect anything of me. Everybody's just leaving me alone, except for those who love me, who are checking on me. But all that outside noise has got to stop. Everybody knows I'm in recovery. I'm down, man down. Like, people are going to just leave me the fuck alone. And it's unfortunate that we have to kind of create that for ourselves sometimes. People create surgeries, they create chronic illness because they just don't want to deal with people a certain way. But it's their way of creating an out, creating rest or respite, right? Uh, I know this might sound very different from what you're used to, but just have an open mind, okay? And take the meat, throw away the bones if it doesn't resonate with you. This is resentment. So resentment is, this particular card is, you've, it's like, any mistakes that you've made in your past, you have the power to change the trajectory of where you're headed now, where you're going. Are you going to hold on to the past and which causes resentment because you're not letting go? Not letting go of things cost us, right? Even our sanity and our peace. Or are you going to go ahead and move forward and just let go? Just not hold on to things that no longer serve you. Therefore, letting go of resentment. Forgive yourself. Forgive others, right? Because forgiving others is not for them to get off easily. It's really for you, for your own peace of mind and for your sanity. Okay? Life force. So for you to achieve, the best requires you to create an environment that supports and nurtures your unique talents. I kind of just said that for you to accomplish and achieve sometimes what you want, we almost have to create these tower moments just to get a moment of peace, right? To just lay back and either do nothing and be still, lie in stillness, gather our thoughts, gain clarity, or just to heal. And you can grow as big as the pot that you plant yourself in. I love that. Always striving to get better, but this is through life force. And I think that some of us have been so exhausted that our life force energy has been very, it's been very low, But again, this is heroic energy. This is you coming back to yourself. This is you reinventing yourself. This is 90-day transformation energy. And for some of us, 30 days. 30 days is all we need. And we're back, baby. This is the master teacher energy. And again, the number on here is 55 is the card of change. And so, the way this is looking, it's like when the student is ready, the master appears. And remember, I talked about that earlier about seeking wisdom, seeking knowledge, seeking something new perspective. And this is what is bringing you back to wholeness. Okay, this spiritual energy is always heightened when you are alone. Not lonely, but alone. There is a difference, right? The path to higher consciousness requires you to travel difficult paths by yourself. Sit still to tap into your higher self. Learn to be your best company, your own best company. And just hopefully we don't have to keep creating these tower moments in order to get a peace of mind and get quiet and get space to ourselves, right? This is resilience, right? So in order to access divine wisdom and transcend, we must go through a purification process that calls for resilience. Transformation is difficult. Remember I said that change is born out of chaos and discomfort. Why otherwise do we have so many inventors? Because they saw a need somewhere, something made them uncomfortable. The fact that I can't even open this can, I need something to open this can because this can is the best way to store my food if I'm not going to eat it for a while. We got to figure out a can opener. You know what I mean? Like, so many inventions came from people being inconvenienced, right? Or from someone's pain and wanting to solve the problem so that others didn't have to experience that. The chaos, the discomfort. Yeah, yeah. And I think this is just a testament of you, like what all that you've been through, God, all that you've been through, like you probably shouldn't even be here right now. There were so many people off the planet. Some of you even know someone who's taken their own lives, or maybe more than one person. But this is you, like you, God, you're just so strong. You've gone through so much and you're still here. Maybe people shouldn't have survived it. Maybe other people didn't survive what you've been through, but you've been through enough, a lot, and you are still here. That's resilience. Okay. So in the stillness, you must practice addition by subtraction. You understand that? In order to add to your life, you have to know what you need to take away out of it to get to your goals. And maybe some of us have been distracted for some time, but you're distracted by the things that you surround yourself by. You know, um, and if something around you is becoming an obstacle to your journey, it is time to remove it. That's what this message shows us, but gaining clarity in the stillness. Okay, repositioning ourselves. This is just a confirmation to the rebirth, right? Your life should be lived in the flow state, in constant ebb and flow. Even when things come up that kind of shake your world up, you got to know how to navigate, gravitate, acclimate. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't shake you so much till you're like, oh my God, I'm just non-functional. No, it all these things show up for you as lessons, as blessings, whether you see it at first or not. And if you tend to struggle every day, that is a sign of disharmony within you. Okay? But also it could be your environment. So this is just calling you to just pay attention to yourself, pay attention to your environment. But ultimately, I just, transformation is underway. Um, I don't know why Spirit is just giving me a change is going to come. You know that song? Oh, by the river, right? Anyway, a change is going to come. So let's jump into your finances. And honestly, these are just messages for where, again, just adding on to this transformation because your finances are going through a transformation as well. There's some adjustments that are happening right now for you in your name, whether you know this or not, and this is also an adjustment happening in you because you're recognizing that I have to be a little bit more thrifty, a little bit more crafty, a little bit more creative with my spending, also a little bit more mature about my spending, right? A little bit more mature in how you handle your finances, maybe. Okay. This is where you can pretty much maximize, what I want to say, like maximize profits or maximize your potential, your potentiality of the profits you can make or what you could, God, where your finances can go by utilizing your own God-given talent. This is not looking outside of yourself, using your own artsy style, your own swag, your own, your own flow, just being able, your own creativeness. Okay. But this is also calling you to be creative with your finances. The way that you can be more responsible and more mindful about your spending and your finances is by you learning creative ways to be able to do that, to be able to save, to be able to not spend, right? To be able to do things for yourself so you don't have to spend on certain things for yourself unnecessarily, right? This is your career, which is in the process of an upgrade. We talked about that, the transformation. I feel like, man, blessings are underway. You just can't make this up. You just can't make this up. This is a great time to enjoy the blessings that are getting ready to pour into your business, to your finances, to your home. Okay, it's time to enjoy nature around you. So you might want to just make sure that in all of these blessings that are about to come in and all that you're doing, even in your current situation, your career, that you want to just stay grounded. So that means maybe taking a walk in nature. For many of us, it's hard to do because it's cold outside, it's rainy, maybe even snowy in some places. But that doesn't mean that you can't go out in the backyard and light a fire, right? In your little bonfire thingy, um, in your little fire pit, or just whatever, your heat lamps, whatever it is. But doesn't mean you can't actually get outside and still get some type of grounding. Sit by a tree, put your feet on the ground. Yeah, because your finances are healing, as are you. As are you. All right, so let's get into what other energies are happening with you at this time. We've covered finances, we've covered general energies. Let's just see what's happening here. So, wow, someone is hung up and fixated on you, very attached and focusing in. This is two oranges, but this is really giving me binocular vibes. So someone is deep diving or just really seeking you out or spying on you even. That's what I just heard. Someone's trying to look in, focus in, whether it's on your social media, whether it's literally doing drive-bys or like I see someone looking through a telescope or these binoculars because they're trying to see when the best time to come in is. Wow. The best time to pop up on you, the best time to try and figure out how to communicate with you by being someplace that they know that you are or that you're going to be. Yeah. This has been someone who this person, whoever this has been a roller coaster of a ride with this person. Um Yeah, it's been highs, there's been lows, they've been hot, they've been cold. Like this is why they want to come and see what's going on, because I think you got fed up. You kind of was like, I'm over it. I can't do this instability, this unstable. I got too much shit going on in my life right now. I'm already going through transformational shit. That's already unstable. Like too much is unstable. I can't have someone in my life, the people in my life, person that I love and that I'm feeling, that I'm digging on, being unstable too. I need something that gives me some type of surety, right? Something that gives me stability. Yeah, someone here is busy adulting, and maybe this person is just starting to become an adult relating, because I feel like this is someone who's been very immature in the past in the way that they relate to people or relate in relationships. And so, yeah, this is someone who wants to make a mature effort and wants to become more responsible in keeping their shit in check, keeping themselves in check. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, someone wants to butter you up, baby. They want to come back in being very charming. Almost like they want to come back in being very charming and hoping that they don't have to bring up or apologize about or talk about the past. But you're not having it. You're not having it. Mm-mm. Not at all. Yeah. Because it just feels like they want to, like they want to come in here and butter you up, but this is for their own personal goals, and like because you soothe their soul. It's like people hanging around you because they know that you are resourceful. People coming back in because they know how you make them feel, and so they want that feeling again. But you're not having it. You're not having anything without any definitive. First of all, without them taking some type of extravagant measures, right? So the butter up is not going to work unless they're coming in real hard, gifts and you know what I mean, bowing down, apologies, like you know what I mean, like for real. Um, yeah, because this is someone who, yeah, they want an official status, an exclusive relationship. They want another opportunity. in this. Wow, interesting. Let's see what else. Ouch. Yep, this is someone who was trying to excuse me guys, my throat is kind of dry. Mm, yeah, this is someone who yeah, this is someone who likes to either has their vices. They like to numb things out. They like to drink or smoke or do something, just get into TV, binge watch, just tune out what's really happening, what's going on, because they don't really like to have to deal with it. This is someone who's been numbing themselves because they don't want to have to deal with the way that they treated you. They don't want to have to deal with the thought of having to come back and apologize to you, even though they know that it's necessary and that there is no way they're going to get back into your good graces without having to come and tell you some kind of truth, reveal some type of secret, reveal some type of truth to you of what transpired. But they are attracted to you. They recognize this is someone who was, I think, with the both of you together, was very passionate. It was very kinky, very sexual, very sensual. Which is a part of what they miss. And you made them feel like whenever you were around, they were just on cloud nine, right? You relaxed them. You felt like home. You made them feel loved. You made them feel admired and adored, important. Yeah. But they weren't being exposed. So something has been exposed. It's almost like, why do I keep doing this? Maybe somebody, did y'all like some choking or something in the bedroom? Like, is that a thing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I keep with this kinky card in cloud nine, right? Um, yeah, and this is like someone who recognizes that they're with a fraud. First of all, they weren't being honest with you. They're being fraudulent with you. They knew from the gate what the intentions were and what they were not, where they were and were not going to go, because I don't think they ever really definitively laid anything out for what you guys were doing. And I also think that they were juggling more than one woman, more than two women, maybe even in some cases. And for men, it was more than one man. I don't feel like if it's a feminine energy that she juggled more than one man, but there was someone else in the picture, someone else she was entertaining. Okay, take it as how it resonates, because there's two different. I'm reading for masculine and for the feminine. Um, yeah, this is someone who was a fraud. They were faking it. They were faking their true feelings for you. They were faking it with the other people or the other person who was involved. They weren't really being honest with anybody. They were moving real fraudulently, and they were wearing a mask. They just weren't revealing their true feelings. So to anybody. So I just think, oh wow, that's real interesting. Wow. Yeah. And then they started treating you or the situation like it was just a booty call. And maybe they felt like you were treating it like a booty call. I don't know. But somebody felt here like this was just a sexual invitation. It was all about the sex. Someone loved it, but then got a little bit too involved. It's almost like they started feeling or falling. Was it falling, Spirit? I'm hearing feeling or falling, or maybe both. And that just kind of, I feel someone like static, like clenching up, like tensing up. Like, I don't do that. I can't fall. I don't, I don't love. You know what I'm saying? It's about the booty call, right? So when it started feeling like it was more than that to them, then I feel this tension, like, and there was a pause, there was a halt. I almost see the Flintstones when they're driving, they how they have to do their feet like this to get the car going. And when they stop, there's like this, they got to tense up and the heels of their feet are like, digging into the pavement or the ground. And that's how this person was like coming to a screeching halt on this situation. It's not funny, but it is funny because the visual spirit is funny. Um, Yeah, and now this person. And then they were like trolling lightweight. I feel like this is somebody who was probably gaslighting also, but just, causing a lot of ruckus and upset because they were trying to incite a reaction. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Trying to provoke an argument and you wouldn't give it to them. You wouldn't even give it to them. That's the cold part about it. You're not even a confrontational person like that. You can go there, but you prefer not to go there. You're just the type of person who's not going to chase. You're not chasing anyone who's not chasing you back. You know what I'm saying? It's useless. And there was nothing ever definitive here. So it was hard for you to really attach to someone who was fraudulent, who wasn't really displaying their feelings or what their desires were or what their true intentions were. And so for you, it probably was just a booty call. It was just about the sex until it's not. But, you're allowing them to have the lead. And then they just fumbled the ball. Okay. I do not know. These things are coming out my mouth because it's what's in my head because Spirit is giving it to me. Okay. So take the meat, throw away the bones, don't shoot the messenger. Yeah, this is like doing too much. Somebody was doing too much. And they were overindulging. And I think they were overindulging in their vices, but they also were overindulging in the people they were dealing with, the person or the people they were dealing with, and oftentimes falling short when it came to dealing with you. Okay? Yep. There was gossip. God, this keeps coming up. There was gossip, there was rumors, there was someone who interference because of words, something someone was speaking, and more than likely someone was just in their ear telling them either some very false truths or some untruths, or they were cock blocking. I just keep cock blocking. Cock blocking or coddling or I almost see somebody whispering things in their ear or telling them what they wanted to hear, not what they needed to hear, because it was working, because it worked out in their favor, whatever their intentions were. This third party person, whether it was the homies, whether it was the homegirl, whether it was the other man, the other woman, third party situations, whatever it was, but these people were telling them things that worked in their favor, whether they were true or not. It was things that would swing in their favor, and that swinging in their favor, what it looked like is this person not being with you or coming towards you. Okay. Wow, that's so deep. That's crazy. um yep, it was make believe shit. It was make believe, but this person really like took it like it was A1 sauce. It was the you know what I mean, like it was truth. And it's almost like they were looking for something to make them not believe in you. They were looking for a reason to walk away and detach from you because they didn't want to feel what they were feeling from falling, because this was just supposed to be about the sex. Yeah. But the other piece of this fraud situation is that they made a choice. They went over to this other situation and recognized that whatever swayed them to go that direction was fraudulent. It wasn't true. It wasn't even real. You know what I'm saying? The grass wasn't really greener. It's not really what I wanted. It's what I settled for. God damn it, I fucked shit up. That's what I hear somebody saying. God damn it, I fucked that up. And shaking their head. Yep. And now someone is yearning, missing you, reminiscing the past. Man, and when I say yearning, I mean like they're really, like I feel them pulsating in their pants for you. Okay? Wow. This is a person who wants to say that they have many regrets that keep them from moving forward, at least towards you. Um, they have karmic debts that they need to be paid, or they had karmic debts they needed to have paid before they could come back to you. They're feeling overwhelmed, drowning in their own thoughts. And this is the second time this has come up, because remember the first card was the card of thoughts. I put it back over there now, but yeah, so this is someone who's really drowning in their thoughts and their emotions. They're really deep down in their head. They're in the sunken place in their head and their thoughts. You know what I mean? And they're distracting themselves to avoid you, to avoid thinking about you. You can't make this shit up. We just saw that with this, with the you know, what was that card? With them um numbing, right? Because that came up, you know, just numbing themselves with their vices, whether it's just vegging out on TV or smoking or vaping or drinking or I hate popping pills, whatever it is, pain pills, whatever it is, it's, you know, jeez. I think of you at night when the world is asleep and my mind is awake. And baby, they ain't been sleeping hardly at all. They ain't been sleeping hardly at all. I have lost faith and cannot see a future anymore with you because they know that they operated in an untruth and they're not sure how to mend it. They don't even think that it's mendable or fixable. I knew I was losing you, but I didn't do anything to fight for you. They know this, which is why they feel like it's too late to try and come back or fix things. Yeah, they're a caged bird right now, needing to free themselves from fear and doubts. They weren't sure they can meet your expectations. Even now, they're not sure they can meet your expectations. The pressure is too much. Yeah, yeah. And I'm finally seeing my worth, yet I still feel unworthy of your love. That's church. That's it. That's your reading. All of this, as far as the relationship side of things, is because this person has felt unworthy of your love the whole time, which is why they tried to make themselves believe that it was just about the sex. It'll just be about the booty call until it's not. And now they're trying to focus on their life, which is another illusion. You know, so they haven't been able to be worried about you. But that's the whole thing. That's the irony of the situation. They have been worried about you. They have been numbing themselves, trying not to think about you. And in trying not to think about you, that's the very thing they keep doing, obsessing over you. Wow. Bottom of the deck, I am keeping secrets from you, and I hope that you don't find out. Wow. Still wanting to be deceitful. Still wanting to be fraudulent because they're so afraid of you seeing through their shit, but you already do. That's why they ran in the first place, because you already do. They were getting in too deep. And those nights where you were coming together, it was supposed to be just about the sex. You were seeing too deeply into their soul. It was too much of a soul connection. Listen, listen. This is just what Spirit is giving me. I'm going to leave it there. That's your reading. Until next time, I love you. In all you're getting, get understanding. No, baby, I see you in my mirror. Close the door. I'll be done in just a second. I'm at the end. Close the door. In all you're getting, get understanding. Remember that love brings change. Love is the highest vibration of all. And until next time, gosh, be wealthy, be healthy, be whole. Love you.